things become so heated and start to bubble over and boil over, it requires, I believe, the government and great leadership to step in.
The Rock sees his new film Rampage as a metaphor for what he calls problems in the U.S. Movie writer Mike Scott with NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, is here with more that and more on what's worth seeing this weekend.
Metaphors. Wow, I think he's reading a little too much into the movie.
That's what it says. I don't know.
See, every year summer movie season starts in like the first weekend of May, and every year Hollywood tries to get things going a little bit earlier, right? And so Exhibit A this week is Rampage, which feels like a pure summer popcorn spectacle. I didn't find any metaphors in there, but it is. I mean, if you're
trying to make it something more than it is, apparently.
Exactly. It's based on the 1980s arcade game, or inspired by anyway, and it stars The Rock. It's a guy who's got to basically save the world when three mutated creatures go on a rampage.
Okay.
And it's what you see is what you get with this one. You're going to get lots of dazzling visual effects. You're going to get lots of carnage and mayhem. You're going to get lots of The Rock. You'll also get a lot of cliches. I feel like the script here could have been could have been punched up a little bit. But if you're in the mood just to sit down and unplug your brain and see a big popcorn spectacle, you could do worse than this, for sure.
All right, now a more serious film, Beirut, starring Jon Hamm.
Right, yeah, this one kind of goes in the opposite direction. This is a 1980s espionage thriller. Stars Jon Hamm as a guy who's got to go back into Beirut to rescue a person who is being held by the same people who killed his own family earlier. So I haven't seen this one, but it's getting high praise for its tightly written script, as well as for the performance of Hamm, who we were talking about in the break.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to get enough leading roles.
I know, after Mad Men, he's just kind of been, I mean, he's done movies, but not that many,
yeah.
leading roles.
This one's sort of your grown-up movie of the week. If Rampage isn't your cup of tea, this one probably will be.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, and then lastly, we want to talk about the animated movie Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero.
Right, yeah. Last week we talked about an animated movie about dogs that sounded like it was good for kids but wasn't.
Yeah,
and this
Isle of Dogs, right?
Isle of Dogs. This one is an animated movie about a dog that doesn't really sound like a kid's movie, but it really works well as one. It's because we don't get too many kids' movies that are set in the trenches of World War I, as this one is.
Right.
But it's inspired by the true story of a terrier mix that rose to the rank of sergeant through combat valor. And he is said to be, I think, the highest-ranking dog in the U.S. Army or something like that. So, but what you get here is it's sweet, it's fun, it's wholesome enough, and it's also a nice entree into World War I for youngsters, a good history lesson. It's a independent production, so it's not as high polished as your higher budget animated films, but it's enjoyable and entertaining.
Interesting. Sergeant Stubby. And you told me that you think Rampage is going to win the box office this weekend.
I think Rampage will certainly win among the new releases, and I think it's going to be in a neck-and-neck battle with A Quiet Place, which was last week's holdover, which has got really great reviews. So, but I think it'll probably edge it out by a nose.
Interesting. All right, Mike Scott, thank you as
My pleasure.
always.